voice in Parliament, and he delivered with an impact, securing a commanding 71.44% of the votes. In 2020, he reaffirmed their trust, solidifying his influence on Ghana's legislative front. From the Public Accounts Committee to Standing Orders and Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committees, he has been the watchdog of governance, defender of constitutional integrity, if you ask me, and an advocate of transparency. But his journey, though, has not been without trials. From surviving a near-fatal accident in 2021 to weathering the storms of political controversy, but his resilience is what you have to salute him for, remains unshaken. When I put up the flyer that I'll be interviewing him, lots of messages came through. Many talked about his dedication to duty, being unwavering. His passion for Ghana's progress is undeniable. And I've watched him countlessly at the vetting committee and all of that. Now he's also the majority chief whip. He stands at the crossroads of governance, steering the affairs of the House with precision, strategy, and unrelenting sense of duty. Tonight, we sit and talk to one man who will tell us his mission, of course, in life in Parliament, and of course, the man behind the title. What drives him? What keeps him awake at night? And what lies ahead in his political journey? My guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is Honorable Rockson-Nelson Dafeamekpor, Majority Chief Whip and Distinguished Member of Parliament for South Dayi. How are you doing, my good friend? Welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
We tried getting you 3 times.
Yes.
I know duty calls many times, so you also have to. Yeah. But how are you doing?
Well, I'm well. God's grace. Like you would say, by Jehovah's grace.
By Jehovah's grace.
Yeah,
you look younger and younger every day. What's the secret? What do you do?
Hard work. You take things easy. You don't misconduct yourself.
Love that.
You exercise both your physique and your mind.
Right.
And you do right by people. And they will do right by you.
And they will do right by you. You turn 50 next year. Is that right?
No, 49.
49 next year, rather.
49 this year. Okay, so I'll turn 50.
Oh, no, but you don't know your age.
No, I know my age.
Yes, but
I'll be
you'll be how old?
I'll be 49 in December. I like when it's December.
So I'm right.
Yes.
You were born in 1976. Is that right?
Yes.
9th of December?
When you said next
year, it got you running. So next year you'll be 50.
Yes.
You don't look it. You look like you're in your late 30s or maybe early 30s.
We'll try.
You try. With all the pressure of work and, going out there. You look well. You try. Yeah. So any plans, special plans, for 50? Any special plans?
Well, I'm not alone. I have a twin.
Oh, you're
I come
a twin.
from a long line of twins.
Wow.
And you know my sister well.
Very well.
From much more time.
That's right. I know.
New Plan Junction.
New Plan Junction.
Yeah. So we follow. That's the second set.
Okay.
There are 2 sets.
Two ladies. Okay.
And then they follow the first set. That's a boy and a girl.
Wow.
And then so your big sister. There are 2.
Okay.
And then they are followed by a boy and a girl.
And
then we follow. So we are the 4th set, 2 boys. That was how my
interesting family, huh?
That's how my mother, great 2 man. That's how he had us.
Wow, fantastic. But you're most welcome. This show is live in Kumasi on Ultimate FM. Yes, also in Sekondi Takrady on Empire 102.7 FM. In Kumasi is Ultimate 106.9 FM. And also on starfm.com.gh. And remember, Star Chat is probably brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. And Star Assurance. So you must welcome once again. How has your day been, Honorable?
Very busy. Myself and my leader, the Honorable Mahama Yariga, the erudite Mahama Yariga, we often will get to work very early. We have here as a deputy, the Honorable Ricket Sagan. He's not a busy man because he's GRA board chair.
Board chair, exactly.
He's busy collecting taxes. so we can do bigger things. Then I have 2 deputies. Second deputy, Richard Champon, MP for Bia East, I should say. And then the Honorable Doyle, Comfort Doyle, MP for Ada. So that's a leadership of 5.
Okay.
So every morning, Monday to Friday, and often the weekends, it's our duty to get government business done.
Right.
To get government business done.
And how early do you get to work? You're saying that it's always busy.
So being the chief whip, I'm like the fulcrum around which a lot of things revolve. So either you are capable or you are not. So once you've been given the job, you must deliver on your mandate. So you must be punctual, you must be versatile, ability to multitask, because you are chasing members' welfare. At the same time, you are ensuring that government business is done, and you are reporting to your boss. So you are delegating and you are coordinating. The matters they stream in. It's like an everlasting fount. It never stops. So your ability to multitask and deal with them as and when they come in.
Do you feel and sense that there's pressure on you, or you feel that it's manageable? I heard, I've heard 2 MPs, say that the workload in Parliament is just too much. Well, they've exited. Ras Mubarak yesterday was on our show here on Starr FM mentioning, and also Neil and Tay Vanderpoel mentioned that no, Parliament not again. Is that how you feel as well?
Yes, there's work. It's amazing how people are disconnected with what Parliament does. So if you may be following our current speaker, who is actually like the founder of Parliament that we have, it's everything Parliament. So a lot of the transformations that you see now are as a result of his efforts and instrumentality. Entered that house in January 93, hasn't left, and is actually living Parliament in a more transformed, transparent, informative, more robust, more assertive, and more organized than he found it. So the credit goes to the Right Honorable Speaker Gbagbe. And Parliament is about to get its own TV channel.
Oh, Parliament is about to get its own TV channel. How soon? What are the timelines?
I think by the end of this year, we should have it brought online. And then have its own radio station to broadcast its programs. And we already do social media, Facebook Live, all those other social media handles will be. So Parliament looks good to handle the mandate of the people, because you see, we are the only institution that the Constitution mandates political parties to go and do politics. That's the only place in this country that the law says you political parties come together, send people so that they can go and do politics. So people think that Parliament is really a place where we play politics. If you don't appreciate it that way, then you will misunderstand Parliament.
Wow.
Parliament Constitution doesn't allow anybody, any political party to send to nominate judges. All right? In the executive, when you become a minister of state, you become a minister of state for the entire country.
Correct.
It's only in Parliament that
very partisan.
An MP is supposed to be on the ticket of a political party. So much so that even if you enter Parliament in pursuance of Article 97 clause 1, 2, 3 thereabout, and the incidents for you to be there, you are supposed to caucus with a political party grouping. For you to be able to caucus on your own, then the independent members, you must be minimum 7.
Right.
That is why now we have 4.
And all of them are like,
yes, they fell short of the threshold of 7, so they are with us. If they were 7,
they would have
maybe A+ would have become his own leader.
And
Thank you, Ohini, and the rest.
Wow.
So it's a place where we do real politics, partisan politics, but more often we unionize, so to speak,
and that is where
harmonize on national politics.
Many will also have a problem that they feel that you're too partisan and political. You do and engage in active politics.
No, then you don't understand. Then you don't understand our constitution.
Really? So it's fair for people to, because the minorities are the neck of the majority, and sometimes
but
it's okay.
That's the law. That's the law. It's not a church. Okay. Parliament is not a church. Neither Parliament a social club where you can say that let's put our differences. It's neither also a group of. It's not also a group of tribal persons who are tribally aligned. It's a place where political parties, people of different dispensations, but who are aligned politically, are supposed to congregate and seek the national interest. So it is whose political ideological policies appeal to the people better. That dominate.
So when it drags on at the expense of the people or national interests, you don't care because you're there for the party.
It's not that you don't care. That is the essence.
That is the essence.
Yeah, that's.
But isn't that dangerous as well? Because sometimes the
no,
people also
no,
want
but that is
you
what
to
we've
come
chosen.
together,
That's what we've
unionize.
chosen for ourselves. No. That's what we've chosen for ourselves. That's why there's a season to do politics. The law says when the season comes, you do the partisan politics. When the season, perhaps in consonance with Ecclesiastes 3:3, there's a season for everything. So when the political season comes, we do it. When the people get elected, they go and then engage on political ideological grounds.
Right.
So when a policy or program or law comes to the floor, we view it as to which political ideological grouping will advocate for it better, to suit the greater interest of the generality of the people.
Fair.
You
But you've been one of the most vocal MPs. I mean, do you ever worry that your passion might be misunderstood as partisanship rather than patriotism?
You see, I'm supposed to be partisan. And it's the Constitution that makes it so. The Constitution says I should identify myself in partisan colors.
So no matter what your party does, if you feel that, well, that is it, it's for your party, even if you have a different
you are
opinion.
asking that such a question shouldn't be put to a chief whip. Because the chief whip
will rally
is
the
an
people.
officer of the party in parliament.
So no matter what.
Whose mandate, in fact, most primus mandate is to ensure that the interest of the political party out there, either forming government or out of government, the party's interest
override?
No, the party's interest is secured.
Isn't that dangerous?
Oh, no.
Wow.
No. The Constitution, like the natural man, as you and I are, we also have artificial beings. And the Constitution gives those artificial entities rights, like the formation of political parties. Can you imagine if the Constitution had mandated the GPRTU, for instance, or the trade union, for instance, to have a representation in parliament like it's done in Uganda? Uganda, there are groupings like Association of the People
doctors
with Disability.
Okay.
They have a rep in parliament because their constitution mandates that.
Right.
So when political parties go to war, practically speaking, and go through the election and elect certain number of their representatives as MPs, a portion is reserved for persons with disability, for them to nominate. So when such persons enter parliament, their interest is to secure the mandate of the group that they represent. That's how parliament is. But Ghana is a novel model. We straddle between the pure parliamentary democracy, which is the United Kingdom, or the Commonwealth parliamentary democracy, and then the strict separation of powers U.S. system. We are like, it's a fusion of both. And that's how the Ghanaian model is. That is why the party is still influential, even though we say we have separation of powers.
Right.
So that no matter what we do as the caucuses, as we call ourselves, we still think of the global Ghana.
Right.
The bigger Ghana. And eventually, we bubble but we don't boil over. We simmer down and we do what benefits the greater interest of the
people. It's interesting, and I'm happy that you're breaking it down for us to have,
yes,
a
otherwise
clear
people
picture.
get emotional.
That's right.
They get emotional. No. But that is the only forum. That is the only forum that the parties are permitted, to do that.
So it is fair and square when you argue.
Argued out. In fact, is arguably because of the ventilation process in Parliament, where people can come and vent and go back satiated. I think it's one of the reasons why we haven't gone to war or battle, or there's not been
and we must salute Parliament for that.
Civil insurrection,
because they express the sentiments of the people and they do it.
Because when you bring up, some people will rise up on the floor, make a statement of a matter, and that normally would be in pursuance of our standing orders 93-1. The person will get up and make the statement, and it with passion, but comments from members assuring him
who
doubts
yes,
the anxieties and the pent up anger and all. Look, a couple of days ago, the Honorable Bidzidin made an urgent statement in respect of a canoe that capsized in his constituency. All right, some young SHS cadet boys were in a canoe and they met. The weather turned stormy and the canoe capsized and some lost their lives. Very emotional statement. You have to listen to comments from members. So you see that the emotion with which he made the statement, after members had commented, he got emotionally satisfied because apparently I suffer it. Member for Front Plains South suffers it. Front Plains North suffers it. Member for Pro East, Pro West, they all suffer it because we live, members from the OT region, we all suffer it. Mankarigu, because we live by the mighty Volta Lake, and our people. There's a whole economy on the Volta Lake. People travel, fish. There are commercial activities.
True.
In the pursuit of, in the primariness of everyday activities on the lake, our people perish every day. Because when you're on the mighty lake, mighty Volta, it looks like the ocean.
Right.
You get to a stage where you can't see anything by 360. You are on the lake. When there's a storm, when suddenly there's a storm, when the clouds turn dark, and there's a storm, and the boat owner didn't equip his journey properly,
right,
you may perish. And it happens to our people. So now the nation is awake, and we are thinking of how, for instance, by way of a social intervention policy, can we purchase life jackets and distribute to the over 52 districts that are past the Volta Lake and 54 constituencies that are dotted along.
That is a major campaign that I think that you should actually pick up and do that.
And
we are ready at ERB to give you the airwaves to do, because it's important. The lives on.
Because I was asked but it won't prevent it. I say yes. Nobody can prevent a disaster.
True.
But I should be ready to survive when the disaster strikes. What am I saying? If I'm supposed to cross from, say, Germany in my constituency to Echi Adoso in Afram Plains South, or Kwawu Afram Plains South, and in the course of the journey, about 8 hours into the journey, and that journey can take you for like 20 hours.
20 hours,
yes,
on
by
the
boat.
lake.
Yes.
Wow.
And if if about 8 hours into the journey, there's a storm, and the boat got damaged and it sinks, by all means there will be fatalities. But if we are all in a life jacket, we'll float.
So why don't you MPs come together and do that?
Great, because there's never been a coherent policy to tackle this matter until about 3 days ago, when we all started speaking by way of comment on the statement. Then the speaker, everybody woke up to the reality.
Wow.
That this is not a matter that is confined to one obscure constituency. It's actually prevalent. So it has the characteristics of attracting the national security apparatus, because it's a matter that's right. So this is what Parliament stands for.
Right.
And you see, these comments are coming from both sides. So we often do that. See that we bring tensions down. The people watch us. Now, because of technology, when that constituency heard that their matter was raised in parliament, and nearly the entire parliament, speaker has directed that the minister for interior, minister for transport, they should come and look at the budget and see how many life jackets we can purchase. You think they will take up arms?
Certainly not.
No.
So
they will be patient and wait for the intervention to come.
And that is how we want it in the town and in the country. So we're happy that you're making a difference. Now let's talk about, still in the house and your leadership style. I just got a message from Yvonne, and Yvonne says, Bola Ray, great program, listening and just love it. I want to find out from Honorable Dafeamekpor. He was once described as a bully and an avant-garde of the government by the minority caucus. As the majority chief whip, I know, and I want to find out, your role requires maintaining discipline, unity within the party, of course, in parliament. How would you describe your leadership style?
I think I'm a robust leader. I am focused. I am disciplined. Don't get me wrong, I'm very disciplined.
Right.
I'm studious. I have stamina. Now, I use the phrase avant-garde of government business, and he caught the attention of Afenyo, and he went to town with it. Your duty as chief whip, and when you are the government chief whip, let me put it that government chief whip, when government business comes to the floor, it must succeed. The duty of the opposition is to ensure that you don't do your government business. You don't get the comfort to do it comfortably. Even if you have to do it, they must create problems for you. You must. It's like you are sailing in a boat. You are steering a boat, and the
captain.
The captain is praying for a calm sea, so you can set sail comfortably to your destination. My brothers on the other side, the minority or the opposition, it is their business to create a storm for you. So your boat is storm tossed. Sometimes, so you don't get to your destination, so your course is diverted. If you don't appreciate this metaphor and analogy, you won't appreciate what happened. So whatever Afenyo and Co. they do is deliberate.
Oh, really?
It's for a cause.
And you have no issues with it at all?
In fact, no. And whatever I do to resist them, it's also deliberate, because if I don't resist them, they will succeed in disrupting government business, and I fail as an officer.
So it's not with any malice or anger.
No.
Interesting.
And these things are all provided for in parliamentary procedure. So they actually cook. They sit down and cook. They cook.
That is how we're going
mischiefs. They cook it. And if you're a smart government chief whip, you must have intelligence and pick that today so and so and so and so and so will be happening.
Oh, so you do that? You pick up info,
yes,
intel?
If you don't build a network of intelligence gathering, then you are not effective. So very often, my leader, the Honorable Ayariga, in the morning when we engage, he says, so what's happening? He calls me chief. I call him boss. Sometimes he will call me boss. Then I also call,
Wow.
Very, very amiable leader. He is markedly different from me, but we gel.
Yes.
So he asked me, so what's happening?
What have you picked up?
Yes. Because I am his arrowhead.
That's right.
I am his general. He is the field marshal. But you need every field marshal, you need your generals to be effective. Otherwise, your army will fail.
True.
So he asked me, what's happening? But then we discuss. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this. So then we are deployed. Sometimes they pick up that we are ready, so they don't deploy. The opposition, if they cook the thing and we know, they don't deploy. Sometimes you'll be surprised. They can surprise you. And Afenyo is, I must be frank, is good at what he does.
How will you describe Afenyo Market?
He's an obstructionist. And
is he a tough one? Is he a thorn in your flesh?
We've been brothers, we've been classmates, we studied together. When the same study group graduated from law school together.
But sometimes you guys are each other's neck and
Yeah, but that's politics. Yeah. We are like two cockerels fighting, but we watch the eye. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
they say there are two cockerels when they are fighting, but they don't peck each
the
other's eye because they know that there's life after the fight.
Because, you know, I'm saying this against the backdrop that you have publicly stated that you and majority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Market,
Minority now.
Minority now. Yes. I should
Even
say.
when I was a Bob No rank, I used to heckle him as majority
that
leader.
you are not brothers, and you've criticized his conduct during the electoral commission's, recollation process.
It was in contest. He
Yeah.
said, "Oh, you see, he has a way. Anytime he wants to create problems for you, then so Roxy, we are brothers. then you must know that is when Afenyo is coming to deal with
Some
you.
mischief will come up, eh?
Yeah. Really, he's cooked it for you. So, like the accounts will say, "Oh, who no
cow."
So into about a cow, no who. You understand? So anytime he says that we are brothers, you must know that disaster is coming. So I must rebut and say we are not brothers. I must let him know that I am battle ready. You understand?
Okay.
If he says we are brothers, then so okay, you turn your back and he stabs you. He will stab you.
Wow.
And that will be politically fatal. So anytime he send a signal that you see we are brothers, the days that you see we are you lie bad.
You shouldn't fall for that.
That is when my antennas go up.
Because sometimes many are saying out there that you are too strong and hard when he comes at you, that and you've explained it today that once he says that you are brothers, it means that he wants to really get at you hard.
Why do you think Afenyo will get up ever often and say, "Where are your numbers? The nation gave you 187, but I can't fire up." It's all mischief. He knows I have the numbers. He knows my MPs haven't gone anywhere.
No, but maybe that is the truth as well.
No, I have.
It's not.
I have one.
Maybe they are not in the house.
Good,
yes.
Because maybe sometimes you guess that you see these are other paper.
Yes,
I brought.
You brought another paper.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You see committee meetings.
Right.
See, that's about how many committees.
It's right there. Yeah, the business committees, the appointment committee, committee on education, committee on private members bill. So maybe there might be.
Thank you. And each committee consists of,
and he knows
on
that.
the average about 2018.
Okay.
So when he studies it, like he sees that a lot of committees are meeting, and we dominate them at committee level. We dominate them by 3-1.
Yes.
So when every committee is meeting, on the average, you have 10 of my members
not
present.
Being present.
10 or more.
Wow.
So if you have about 6-7 committees meeting, that's about 70 to 80 of my members engage at committee work. I'll be depleted technically. My back will be depleted. Oh, he will go to town. You avant-garde of government business, where are your men? He knows that they are beating. His members to Adao. When he complained that, wait, look at your back. He said, even me alone, I can do the job. So he must go to town and ridicule you.
Do you see him as a thorn in your flesh, as majority? I mean, be sincere with us.
I think he once said that I was rather a thorn in his flesh.
Oh, right.
When he was majority leader.
Okay.
For about 2 years. He said I gave him hell. And perhaps me and others' work brought them down.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. In this country, I was always in the Supreme Court. Unless the president doesn't cough and I find anything constitutionally wrong. Oh, Bola Ray, I'll sue.
So you were deliberate about it?
It wasn't about being deliberate.
Thinking, yeah.
It was about the fact that some things were constitutionally clear not to attract a violation. So, for instance, the president wakes up on a certain Valentine's Day sometime in 2022, if I'm right, or 2023, and said he had dismissed a number of ministers with a wave of the pen. Some told me that they were on their way from the house. By the time they got close to their office, announcement had come that they had lost their job. So they left them as ministers and got to the office as former ministers. In the same communication, then the president says, I have reassigned some. That is miscommunication. So later they came to say it was a miscommunication. I said the Constitution does not permit you to miscommunicate constitutionally. When you are performing a constitutional function, you are either certain or not. it doesn't permit you to say that you can make a mistake and walk away with it. So that mistake, I won't forgive you. So assume. So when I issued the process, then they came back and said, oh, where the ministers mentioned names, where they mentioned some persons, some ministers' names among those that he has dismissed outrightly, and came back and gave another category as those ones have been reassigned. So for instance, Bola Ray, Minister for Energy.
Right.
You are among the list of ministers supposedly dismissed with immediate effect. In fact, that was the language. Then in B, in the next page, it says, oh, ministers as reassigned or reshuffled. Bola Ray from energy to say education. I say, but
the man has already, his appointment has been terminated.
Yes.
How come?
So there's once you say with immediate effect, that release, it ends it for me.
But he has been reassigned. Yes, not for that ministry.
No,
but
because I'll read paper A before I read paper B. Because the effect of paper A is that you are no longer available to be reassigned. The president has power, though, under the constitution, to even reappoint somebody he has just fired. But that reappointment, the reassignment, are not reassignment. I'm calling the reappointment. So they must be subjected to parliamentary pre-approval. Oh, Chrome hired. They'll call you quietly. See, Charlie,
this one there, you punch us.
This one there. But I said, no, let's go.
Wow.
You know, then we were here. The president got re-elected for a second term and asked all his former DCs to continue in office. I said, but what is that? And they should act, but they shouldn't take policy decisions. In this town. So I filed. I was here when they said they had appointed NPP Director of IT, Bono Rigi, as EC Deputy Commissioner, Dr. Apiahene. How do you appoint a politically exposed person to serve in a constitutionally independent entity of state? So I sued. And those things, it hurt them. I felt confide.
He confided in you?
No, not in me, but you know, when they say those things, you get back to
you have
these
your
things. Increasingly, I was showing that I was paying attention to the Constitution. I had become like a watchdog.
Were you ever called from the other side to back down?
Yeah. Many times. Many times.
But you didn't.
I did one.
Oh, you did?
I did one.
Why did you do that? Of
that
all
one,
the many?
It was about, you see, we were here when Agenda 111, when we were told that they had given the design contract to Ajayi for $6 million at the time to design Agenda 111 hospital. And then we realized that they has also procured contractors to just go and build the hospitals. So I sued, challenging the procurement process, the methods and all. Because it was a World Bank funded project.
Right.
So they called me. Because I issued the action early. So I think the World Bank country office picked the matter. And they realized that they review. I was told that they reviewed the rate. And they saw great merit in it. So they advised that they can't proceed until these matters are resolved. And truth be told, one came to my constituency. In fact, there were 7 districts in the Volta region that didn't have district hospitals. And they were all benefiting. And I knew that if I persisted, these projects will stall.
Yeah.
My people in the other districts will lose this opportunity. And so I weighed the options. And the monies to have been paid already. Even though one of my declarations was to reverse the process and re-award.
Okay.
If they do it, Ajayi may still would have been given. So, yes, there will be a judicial victory, but like there is an Indian phrase that will say a pirate victory, or like we say in law, brutum fuma. You have judgment, but to what?
Okay.
To what end?
Extent? Yeah.
So I weighed the option. They came, they engaged me, and I said, okay, if it will withhold the World Bank, because that time it was the projects were being rolled out as part of the difficulties we had in COVID.
Right.
And you don't want to
And
come
the health
across
situation,
as
yes.
Yeah, you don't want to come across as a
difficult.
single act from just you that's thrown the whole country's health program into this infrastructure, into disarray.
You weigh the options.
I weigh the options, and I allow my individual, aspirations
to just,
to lower.
All right.
Then there was another one. The chief of staff, Freema, was directing anytime entities of state wanted to auction vehicles. She would write and appoint an auctioneer from Accra, and the auctioneers will go to the schools or hospitals and go and auction the vehicles. As part of my public account, so we came across it and I sued her. They called me and said, I won't back down.
Oh, they called you?
Oh, so Godfrey Dami came to court. Oh, no, a phone call, they want to plead. I said, this one, no pleading. No. I'm setting the law aright. So Godfrey Dami came to court. I don't have cause of action. They just ruled that, hey, I have cause of action. My cause of action is ripe. Eventually, we went on to win the case. So
you love the courtroom.
Oh, but I'm a courtroom animal. You had to see me in practice.
In practice,
like
I'd love to
years
see
ago.
you. Oh wow!
No, 15 years ago when I was Oyome's lawyer. You have
yes,
to,
I remember. Yes,
those
days. 2012, 2011, you were there.
10,
I remember
11, 12,
yes.
13, 14. What?
You love it.
This time was sweet.
But you've also filed a 30 million Ghana cedi defamation suit against Reverend John Intim-Fojo over allegations that he made on social media accusing you of being involved in a bribery scandal related to the subsidiary legislation committee.
Yeah.
What do you think caused him to accuse you of that? Have you engaged him? Have you reached out?
He got his facts wrong.
Okay.
He played politics. We all do it, but you watch the line. And in order to attack me, he got his facts wrong and attacked me with it. So things like that you don't spare because it goes to reputation. Because you see, the statement he made and others latched on it and also posted onto their social media handle. You have to look, if you had people on Twitter who had like 80,000 followers, if they throw dirt at you and it sticks, you are done. Because if you understand statistics and integers, it's like 11 raises the power
now
10.
Yes.
So yes, it goes far. So and then as soon as he mentioned my name, somebody picked it and used my image and that of the current Attorney General. That at the time that National Security Officer said he brought money to Parliament, apparently it was Dafeamekpor and Dr. Ayini who were chairman and vice. Like I was vice to Dr. Ayini on the subsidiary legislation committee. In opposition, we chaired subsidiary. So Dr. Ayini was chair and I second chaired him as his vice. So and to make the matter more murkier, the suggestion was that apparently the Attorney General, who is now the chief prosecutor, was actually the man who was the chairman of the committee and received the money. And Dafeamekpor was his lieutenant.
Yeah.
So if this is the case, then I'm on for that's up for you. So these things you need to clean it up.
So that's why you've sued him.
That's why I sued him, especially because he's a member of Parliament. It behoves on us to put our facts, gather our facts, cross-check before.
Has this lawsuit affected parliamentary collaboration between you?
Between us?
Yes.
I think that we used to be warm friends, but now I don't.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, we don't.
Honorable, in the interest of Ghana and everything, maybe you can reach out to him and find out why he did that. So you've avoided talking to him or engaging him.
We don't talk. Ever since I issued the writ, normally he will see me and call me and he speaks a bit. So he will try and speak a bit with me, but we don't.
You don't.
We don't.
And you want it as such.
Yes,
you want it to be as it is.
Yes, I want to have my day in court. So.
Interesting. So how do you also respond to concerns about publicizing asset declarations, potentially exposing officials to security risk? Many have said that, well, as raised by the special prosecutor and others who've also written papers on that and said, well, we shouldn't do that because then we're exposing public officials.
Then they don't understand the ethos of our constitution. The person who gave us this constitution. Let me read the preamble of the constitution.
Sure do.
Where are you?
Go ahead.
The Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, in the name of the Almighty God, we, the people of Ghana, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government which shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality, of opportunity and prosperity, in a spirit of friendship and peace with all peoples of the world, and in solemn declaration and affirmation of our commitment to freedom, justice, probity, and accountability. The principle that all powers of government spring from the sovereign will of the people, the principle of universal adult suffrage, the rule of law, the protection and preservation of fundamental human rights and freedoms, unity and stability for our nation, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. This is the spirit and the letter of the Constitution. Right. Everything in this Constitution is based on this preamble. This is the introduction of the Constitution. Two key words, probity and accountability. If you are not willing to submit yourself to be probed and to account for things that you must have acquired or things that must have been given to you to work with, then you have no business having taken
or holding a public
participating in the public space.
Wow.
Because any power that you exercise in a public office is a power entrusted to you by the sovereign people.
So those saying that it could lead to witch hunting and misuse of personal information.
They have a complete misunderstanding of the Constitution. Because a public office is defined in the Constitution. If you see, and it's not by force. If you go to chapter 24 of the Constitution, it's a code of conduct for public officers. Article 284 defines what a public officer, 285, 286. 286 talks about the declaration of assets and all. Now, how can you declare your assets and not have it publicized? Take your dictionary and look for the meaning of declaration. Right. What the Englishman defines to mean a declaration, or how a declaration is defined by an Englishman. And you see in Article 288, it says in this chapter, unless the context otherwise requires, a public officer means a person who holds a public office.
Right.
And the misunderstanding is that people don't realize that the assets declaration provision is not only about assets, it's also about liabilities. And let me read for the viewers too. It's not only about assets. When you owe money, when you owe the bank,
you have to declare.
You see, says 2861, a person who holds a public office mentioned in clause 5 of this article shall submit to the Auditor General a written declaration of all property or assets owned by or liabilities owed by him, whether directly or indirectly. So if you've gone to borrow money and you are using it to pay the school fees of your children, right, say so.
Okay.
If your children have gone to borrow money and you have guaranteed, you have
declare.
It's a liability. If you guarantee the loan for somebody, it's a liability. The Constitution says owed by him or directly or indirectly.
So you see nothing wrong with it at all.
Because it's anybody who suggests that the
will lead to witch hunting or misuse of personal.
The Constitution says it rather gives you protection.
Okay.
So that everybody knows that before you entered public office, these were your property.
Interesting.
But if you conceal it from the people, then you allow the people to misconceive things about you, and they can come after you.
All right. You are a lawyer and a great one at that. Let me pick your thoughts on this, and we'll still stay on the OSP. Do you believe that the OSP has followed due process in declaring Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta a fugitive, especially given his official communication about medical treatment abroad?
Thank you. I was hoping that you would have placed this question, for want of a better phraseology, in a proper context. If you put it like that, it was as if the announcement to declare him was whimsically done.
Certainly not. I know we know that
great.
So
placing this matter in context.
Right.
Look, to the extent that even the minority in Parliament raised this matter by way of statement, the Honorable Afenyo-Markin brought this matter to the floor. And after the statement engendered some comments, because statement is not supposed to lead to a debate, after it engendered a lot of comments, he guaranteed to Parliament, he swore that he was guaranteeing that Ken Ofori-Atta will return to the Republic to answer to his charges by a certain date. And so Parliament as an organ of state, we should call the national security operatives to order, people who were storming his homes in his absence and all that he was not a fugitive of justice. He was ready and able and willing to come and respond to the charges and have his day in court. They waxed lyrically about all those highfalutin sounding fundamental rights and swore that he will come. Every institution of state mellowed, including national security operatives, including the OSP
himself.
OSP therefore revised its nose and actually reversed the earlier notice and took him off based on the stipulations.
The assurance given.
The assurance given. You know, the stipulations from his lawyers, from a lot of people, culminating in Parliament, the issue engaging Parliament, and the fact that the minority leader practically guaranteed his return. We told him that you have eggs in your faces.
You did.
We told him.
You think that Ken Ofori-Atta was given ample opportunity and time to respond or maybe to appear? You feel that
Bola,
the time, yes.
You and I are contemporaries. I may be slightly older than you.
Right.
But we go way back.
Certainly.
Look, in this country, persons, some accused persons, just accused, standing trial, the Republic versus so and so and so, they were brought to court with in wheelchairs. They were brought to court with when you have this rubber sticking from your wrong places. How is it called? People were brought to court. I saw it. The state
with tubes sticking out.
Thank you. The state didn't. We didn't cry that mercy should be extended to those people. We simply thought that they had offended the Republic, so much so that whether or not their medical conditions were such that they should be treated differently, we said no. Because of what? The doctrine of equality before the law.
Certainly.
So whether your health condition permitted it or not, you ought to be brought.
But this is a man who served the nation and being your finance minister.
The people, you are compelling me to mention names.
Do.
Kwame Pepra, the Honorable Kwame Pepra.
Yes.
Today, my uncle, good evening, sir. Was he not a finance minister? The seat that Ken Ofori-Atta occupied, Kwame Pepra occupied it. And yet he was charged for supposedly causing financial loss to the state and other things. He was convicted and jailed in this republic. He was not a liberal. He was not a personnel manager. He was not a driver. He was a finance minister of the Republic of Ghana. And for Christ's sake, he was Jerry Rawlings' finance minister. But he went in. His deputy, Victor Salome, longest serving deputy finance minister, was also accused. It's the same building they all occupied. In fact, the building hasn't changed. The same building, perhaps the same office, the same seat. In some countries, the seat of some seats in some offices don't change. They are symbolic. The same seat that they sat on, because there were between the departure of Dr. Kwesi Botwe and the coming in of Honorable Kwame Pepra, Victor Salome acted as finance minister for some time. So I want to suppose that he sat on the seat of the finance minister. Nobody spared him. Nobody made this highfalutin sounding preaching. So what is the issue? They say come and answer to some charges. By all means, you will come and respond to the charges. So that is all we are saying. That come and answer. Look, Bola Ray, there was a time in this country where 90 MPs held a press conference and said they did not want the finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta, to the extent that they threatened that if the president didn't listen to them, they were going to boycott the budget presentation. What was the issue? They say he was incompetent. He was creating problems for their government. So they needed a new person. But he was not around. He had gone, he had health issues. So what happened? Eventually, the entire caucus led by the Honorable Chairmansa Bonsu had to issue a press statement and said they were all in support of the call that the finance minister be changed. But they had engaged the president and they had some agreement. And that after the presentation of the impending budget at the time, the man would depart. To the extent that he couldn't return. So it took the majority leader then, the Honorable Chairman Sabosu, to actually present the budget in Parliament. We sat in the dome in Parliament, in the tent. That white tent in the
right,
yes.
At the Grand Arena, yes.
Yes. He later came back. He didn't leave. There were even further calls that he should resign. He refused to resign, even though he was not well. He came back to sit in that office.
So you
hold on.
Yeah.
He came to sit and continue as finance minister and was treating himself. How is it that today, when they say come, you will say that you are unwell? When you were finance minister, the nation said we don't want you. You said even though you were unwell, you persisted in the job. So today, a sickness, an excuse of sickness or ill health shouldn't be an issue. We must be fair. That when you were sick and you still persisted as a finance minister, in the same way, you may not be well today, but we'll say that please come and answer to your charges. There's a presumption of innocence until proven guilty.
Clearly so.
So I believe that you should take advantage of that and come.
You want him to come
and speak to the issues. Well, who will kill Ofori-Atta? Nobody. Nobody is interested in his death. In fact, if it's proven that he's guilty of certain things, I'm not interested in him going to jail. I'm interested in recovery.
Oh, so you are interested in recovery if it's proven guilty?
Well, we should recover the money first. If the state decides that he should still go in, fine. But my primus concern is that if there are money hidden, we need to recover that.
But it's innocent until proven guilty.
I've just said so.
That, yes.
I've just said so. So people should listen to me carefully in context.
Right. Before they go and yeah.
You won't go here and come and enjoy the loot. We will recover the loot.
Well, it's 5 minutes gone past 8. Honorable Dafeamekpor is here with us, MP for Sauda. And you know what? We have lots of messages for you. Interesting, comments coming through as well just for you. But when we come back from the break, Honorable, we'll get to meet you. We'll know, what you like, what you've engaged in, and also get to know a lot more about you right here on Star Chat. We'll be right back.
Bola Ray.
Moving on to your messages, and Fifi Osman Arthur on Facebook says that Bola Ray, great interview as always, and a great man you have in your studios. Good evening. Well, thank you. Elvis Bosch says this man is really carving a new craft for himself and the next generation. Smart and tough guy with straightforward thinking answers. Great show, Bola Ray. Well, thank you very much, Elvis Bosch. And also Selassie says that will he one day run for president? We need men of steel and resilience, and I believe that he's a tough guy for the job sometime soon, maybe 2032. So please, Bola, find out from him if he has interest. Honorable, one day have you considered that? Maybe speaker?
Bola, I'm a small boy.
We'll come back and talk some more. But we're celebrating 40 years with Starr Assurance. And Starr Assurance is giving us 40 reasons to smile. It's a big promotion. From now till the end of the year, you can actually win one of our many lucky, dips. And we're actually getting lots of winners to walk away with a whopping cash prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis in quarterly draws and a grand prize to enjoy the new luxury of Dubai. It's simple. To take part, you just call 0302-751-333 or visit customer.starassurance.com. It's simple if you want to renew your existing motor insurance policy. You can also walk away with any. Go into any of our branches nationwide and we'll have something big for you. So be a lucky winner today with Starr Assurance, your solid partner. And remember, this promo is in conjunction with NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. It's Thursday, and it's a yellow Thursday. My people, Thursdays are now extra special on MTN. Yes, your Thursdays just got more exciting because from now on, you get a nice 25% discount on your first data bundle. Only from MTN. So you can actually use your MTN app or use *138# this and every Thursday on MTN. So MTN is saying that is not enough for a lovely customer like you. So they're offering a free extra movie ticket when you pay with Momo at Silverbird Cinemas or also at Accra Mall and West Hills Mall. So for those of you listening in Kumasi, I have a big deal from MTN for you as well. Yes, the Garden City Kumasi. You're getting free tickets at the Golden Cinemas in Kumasi Mall. So if you ask me, I think you need your movie dates because from now on, you are sorted with MTN everywhere you go. And that's Yellow Thursday for everyone. So, Honorable, let's talk about, your early inspirations and role models. I mean, growing up, what led you to pursue a career in law and politics?
I believe I wanted to be a boxer, for instance.
Oh, you wanted to be a boxer at the point
I'm actually a good boxer.
Make sure you don't box anybody in parliament.
Oh, yeah.
Has somebody provoked you at the point at the time?
As for the provocation,
yeah.
But
you felt like boxing them.
Yeah, but you exercise some restraint.
Oh, you wanted to be a boxer?
Then I wanted to be to join the army.
Okay.
And your big sister said, no, Jehovah's Witness.
He said no.
No.
Wow.
That never happened.
Wow.
And so, but I've always been a good reader. My twin brother is gifted in the numeracy.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
right.
gifted. He's
Sharp
no
like
wonder
that.
he has a doctorate in engineering.
Major.
Yeah. Achoo.
Yeah.
And I read. I like reading. So, this is where reading has brought me.
Wow.
So, I recall that in Mauli School, when we finished, I was great in Mauli School. When I came to Mauli from Anseko, I had some student leadership roles. I was the dining hall prefect.
Oh, you're the dining hall prefect?
In Anglo Secondary School.
Okay.
So, I wanted to go to Adisco. So I actually chose Adisco. And the old man. The old man looked at me and said, you are not going to Adisco.
You have to go back to the region.
I cried because I had nearly all my friends
going to Adisco for
Adisco. No, even from Form 5, they were continuing and some two were joining.
Right.
So it was a decision. He said, no, you're not going. So he said, your uncle is the head of Mauli School, Felix Akolo. So I should go to Mauli School. I cried. Wow. But when I landed in Mauli School, perhaps Mauli has been instrumental in
shaping
me. Wow. Beautiful woman, smart woman.
Is that where you met your first girlfriend?
Oh, not really. But
you were in the game before.
Oh no, but the point was that Mauli is a mixed school,
right?
With beautiful women,
okay,
but brilliant.
Mauli, eh?
I had trust in myself. I was like a top performer before I entered. But Charlie, Mauli school, the girls,
brilliant.
Charlie, where you literature?
Oh. What's the motto of Mauli school?
Head, heart, hand.
Head, heart, hand. Wow.
So Mauli molded me because of my student leadership experience from Anseko. Mauli had this culture those days. If you had come in to do your sixth form, you were not respected.
What?
So I quickly put myself together and Charlie, I registered myself
to become the dining hall prefect.
Yes, so I became the NAP. It was like the first time in ages. It's never happened. I broke that jeans.
Wow.
Why? Because I had the skills. So one day, Mauli School, they control dining hall. Now things have changed. But in those days, dining hall was controlled on weekly basis by the halls. Like we call them houses.
Houses, right.
So you had the rooster. So in lower 6, when I went to Mauli School, I got sick for like 2 months. And so eventually when I showed up, Mauli School, they had this funny thing. When you don't come early, they think that you came by back door. Like your grades were not good there. Like, 3 A's, not like I get 6, I get 7.
Yeah.
Before you enter Mauli School. So if you come, if they don't see you early, it's as if you came
20.
with no aggregate 60 or 20, you won't get it. Like you came with aggregate 50, aggregate 60.
Right.
But I had good grades.
Right.
I was just 6, so I showed up. I had a presence.
That's right.
And my language was good. So I said, this guy. But my time came. It was the turn of my house to control the dining hall. And our house captain, somehow, he was reading physics. I never forgot that he was reading physics man's joke. He had a physics class. Sir Rashman, they call it. They organized some emergency class for them in the afternoon. So he sent word that he would not be able to handle the hall. And that was upper 6. So lower 6, I saw my colleagues. They were struggling in the hall. They were struggling. They had no control. Right. Everything was in disarray. So I got up. And then I asked for the bell. So I took the bell. And I rang the bell in a certain way. It attracted attention. Then I thundered. Silence in the hall. Everybody take your seats. 1 to upper.
1 to upper. You were in lower 6.
Yeah.
That is control. That is
the audacity
of
who the hell was this? I said 1 to upper. Sit down. And the way I said that sit down was a typical dining hall prefect. So everybody sat down. Then I said, Form 1 girls. Only Form 1 girls will serve the food. Only Form 1 girls. So if there's a table, I speak of about 1,800 population. Then I said, if there's a table without a Form 1 girl should leave one table and go to that table and serve. I don't want to see anybody up.
Wow.
And there should be perfect silence in the hall. And I was pacing up and down. After about 5 minutes, I went to the stage and I stood in the middle at the edge of the stage and Charlie, you have to see the spectacle.
You were preparing for majority chief.
I had landed. The legend had been born.
Yes. Wow.
It was news. So the call, that time there was no call. So people rushed to my asked Captain, Charlie, where did you get this guy? Some Rockson guy. The things he did in the hall. And that was a Monday.
Right.
We had some special dish in Mauli School, Tuesday afternoon. We call it local something. That was kinky and hot pepper and fried fish. You see every half caste in Mauli School.
We'll go for.
No. And we'll be tied to if you bury them. They'll report you to their father will come and report you to a headmaster. So Tuesday afternoon, the next day, the hall was that we were like 2,000. Oh, come and see your mom on show.
Buta on show. You delivered.
No. Oh, I delivered. So I became a legend.
I became the dining hall prefect.
Then it was time for election.
It was a given.
Yeah, no. The SRC said they prefer somebody else.
Oh.
So they preferred, I think, Adams and somebody. And then the student body said they preferred me. So we went to the election. Oh, Charlie.
What was your nickname back at Mauli School?
I had 2.
Oh, you had 2 nicknames.
I had
okay.
2. So I had Boklo Champion. Because
Boklo.
And Rocks. No, hold on. And Rocks.
Okay.
Rocks was, I introduced the food. Maize, granules.
Yeah.
You remove the husk.
Right.
Like Oblayo.
Oblayo, yes.
Yeah, I introduced it. And
you introduced it
and named the food
after yourself.
Myself. So it was rocks. Then Pokplo Champion was a song.
What is Pokplo?
It's like there's this porridge.
Porridge. Okay.
I went to meet it, and so it was the first years. You know, the first when they come. So it was like Rockson, Pokplo Champion, wake up, wake up, wake up. We believe in Rockson, we believe in Rockson.
They compose a song for you. What's you did for?
Charlie, when we go to sports. And I made sure my sportsmen feeding me and the metro at the time. That time we were matured.
You're a natural born leader.
So when anytime the metro will go and buy food for the school, she took me along.
Really?
We traveled to Nkwanta to go and get maize. I knew what we were eating.
This is a different part of you, Roxanne. You are organizer too.
And you see, the headmaster began training us. I was presenting report on the dining hall every Monday. The headmaster would take my report, every activity for the week. So I was submitting a report. So perhaps my building began from there.
Right.
God bless his soul today. Uncle Felix is not alive, but he trained us. Anybody who attended Mauli School at the time.
So you will actually give a lot of credit to Mauli School where you spent your formative years.
2 years.
2 years.
But the transformation.
Very impactful.
So I was in class with Kimati.
Oh, Kimati Kunya.
Yeah.
Kimati, okay.
Kimati, myself, the women have all become women now.
Okay.
Who else? Jerry Agbama, BSM.
Jerry Agbama, BSM. Right. He's in London now. So
yes.
Yeah.
That was our literature. Our literature class were like just 15.
Wow. Top guys. And
top guys.
And
we had this guy who was Yvonne Afacha in the child. This guy went to write literature.
What is it? Yeah, that's a very popular name.
She came from Achimota school.
Yes.
She and Kalala of Fred Owari.
Right.
And MFA Dezanga.
Okay.
This girl. When they put English on paper.
And then you did UCC.
I did UCC.
And then
because I wanted to read law.
Okay.
But I fell short by one.
Okay.
Law, I think in 97, the cutoff was 6 or so. I had 7. That year, because of the shadow break, two badges. So we put pressure on the faculty. Correct. So I missed
you had to go to.
I was supposed to read, I think, law and English and something. I think.
So you went.
So I did. That time.
Kivas to do what?
To read tourism. That time BSc tourism was in vogue. Yes. My Gizo came to wow all of us. That Charlie, when you finish, you'll be in the air, you'll be traveling.
And you love the sound of that.
Charlie, you went.
So you did BSc tourism.
BSc tourism. That's tourism marketing, I should say.
You can be the tourism minister at the point, too. You know it, eh?
So I know tourism.
Wow.
It's just that a lot of people didn't, this airline ticketing. I was a dawn in it.
Really, airline
ticketing. When I teach people didn't know that. Wow. I say it was ticketing that took me back to law school.
Law school.
Yeah. Travel and tour and all that. So
interesting. Yeah. We'll talk about the law, the politics, and all of that. But let's get to meet you. You married?
Yes, I'm married.
Okay, with how many children?
6 now.
6? Now, if you say that, it means that more to come.
Perhaps.
Honorable, with all your busy schedules, you are still producing. You want to have 10? Maybe 11?
Well, if my wife, she's considering it. So.
Oh, she's considering it. But you want how many?
I want 10. My dad had 10. 10 of us.
That's a large family.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had 10.
You have twins?
Not yet. I checked. And I was told that they call it a genetic jump.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you are twins, so naturally.
Yes, all of us are twins.
Yes, all of course.
And so they say it's called a genetic jump. So you, the children, you, the twins, you yourself, you skip it. And it's rather your children who may.
Okay.
So, but we'll see. Nothing is beyond Jehovah.
You are busy. Yes, exactly. You are busy in parliament and doing all of that. Do you have time for the family where you say, daddy is with us, all 6 of us, the children, we are with him, and you talk, you look at their homework, and do you have time to do that? Or you wish you can do more?
The big ones are in school now. Sefako is finished, finishing his national service. Salom is pursuing BSc Computer Engineering.
Wow.
The tech is in the 2nd year. CC, that's Sarah, the third one, is also pursuing BSc Computer Engineering. So she and the brother in the same faculty. Then the fourth one, Sally. Sally is in Trinity.
You have a thing for SSS.
Yeah, I love.
Right.
Yes. Then I have the fifth one, Papa. Papa will be turning 5 soon.
Okay.
Then the last one for now, yes, Settle.
I love the for now.
For now, Settle.
Settle. Wow. You've done a good job in all of that. But aside politics, do you unwind? Do you have time to say that, well, I'm sitting down with some
friends.
Oh, really?
Friends,
who are some of your friends that you meet up and catch up with? And they put
the
honorable down.
No, we have a base in Achimota, Kingsby. If you reach Achimota, Kingsby, I am...
You are known?
I'm known.
Wow.
They even say that...
is it the Kingsby junction where the taxi or rank is?
No. The Kingsby runabout, we have a base called Asari's base. We call it Parliament.
Oh, you call that place
and we
Parliament?
Have a group. We are well organized. Wow. So the boys, we unwind, and they love me for that because somebody thinks that from very humble beginnings, having become first, they say, well, if I become a lawyer, I will abandon them. Then I did not. Then. You say, hey, lawyer, we are paying you. If you become MP, you abandon. Then I did not. Now I become majority. They say this one, they don't see you cry. Now they see me more. So they appreciate that.
You're a man of the people. You're with them.
And even here and in my constituency, now it's affecting my frequent visits, but it has not affected my frequency of touch.
Okay.
Every activity in the constituency, I have a stamp on it.
Wow.
I have a presence. I leave a stamp on an activity.
Do you have aspirations beyond Parliament?
We are politicians, so you are taught never to say never. But beyond Parliament, I would love to teach. Even with all the work, I am still in school. I try and upgrade myself.
Right.
I've just finished my second LLM.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Did the first one. I think 3 years ago. Just finished the second. I'm looking to pursue my PhD in either in public policy or in law.
You love to study.
Yes, I love to read. Reading makes man.
Right.
So if I want to do the PhD in law, I won't do the PhD, but I'll do the LLD. And it's not common.
It's not common.
University of Cape Town, Helsinki, a few universities.
Finland. Okay.
Finland, yes. They offer the LLD. And I love the LLD. It's much heavier.
Okay.
Than
the PhD in law.
I see the PhDs. The LLD is heavier. So if you have LLB, LLM, LLD, then you know that.
Charlie, you be tough.
This is a jurisprudence. The lawyers, that's the lawyer's lawyer.
That's the lawyer's lawyer.
Yes.
We love that. Just yesterday, or 2 days ago was announced. And before we come back to, other things like, I know you love your sports and that. But then MPP is also preparing for a presidential primaries in 2026. Do you think it's too early? Today I've heard debates across, platforms and all of that. Does it cause any fear in the NDC? Because they are going in for an early slot.
You see, the NDC, we are a very patient party. And the MPP is not our standard.
The MPP is not the NDC standard?
No. If the MPP were our standard, we wouldn't be where we are. We measure ourselves by the aspirations of the people. So in the NDC, you are cautioned that don't copy the MPP. In fact, the founders told us, a lot of people didn't appreciate what he said.
That is Jerry Rawlings.
Jerry Rawlings.
Okay.
If you remember 2016, during our last campaign in Cape Coast, he cautioned. He said, don't mimic them. If you mimic them, they are a master at what they do. So you can't copy them and become a master. The master will always trump you. So stay to your cause, stay to your ethos, stay to your principles, probity, accountability. And that is all Ghanaians want. Ghanaians, we've come to a stage where, yes, by all means, serve in the public space, but account for whatever you account for your mandate.
Your stewardship.
Thank you. Account for your money. Well, if you do that for a Ghanaian, you don't have a problem. They will see you in the street and smile at you and be nice to you. But if you steal from them, they will punish you. Even if it's not today, they'll punish you tomorrow. They may even punish your children. Because you see, there's something we call heritage. And it's biblical. Children suffer for the sins of their fathers. And Ghanaians will punish you. They will tell, this boy's father. They won't take you in the job. But if your father left a good name, they will take you, this guy's father. Somebody met me somewhere and said, your father taught me in survey school. And he was very good to me. I wanted something done. He did it for me without blinking because of the name. He saw the name and said, was so and so your father? And I smiled, I said, yes. I said, yeah, that was my father. We're the last one. Said, that's why we didn't get to see, because we used to visit the house in Newtown. Father used to live in Newtown. That's Sika Ofie side, Agbajena. Right. So as politicians in NDC, we are not perfect. We are not angels. But you see that the NDC is markedly different from the NPP by what we do, the things we say, how we do it, because we know the standard is the people's expectations and how they view us.
So you're not bothered they going into early?
No. We've been given a huge mandate. Bola Ray, that kind of mandate, in fact, they are telling you loudly, silently. So let me speak English here. They are telling you loudly, silently that effect whatever change you can. So we are giving you the power that you need to do that. You don't need anybody to do that. We have 2 tests. So whatever change you think, whatever defects there are in the system, make the amends. And I know that if we don't take the advantage of this and do what the people expected of us, we'll suffer for it. We'll be penalized. Yes. I have that sense of trepidation in me that it may happen to us. So we need the mandate we have is unprecedented.
And are you on track as a government and be fair and sincere with where you are?
I believe that. Look, we were also surprised by them. I mean, I know we'll win,
but not by this margin.
Not by this margin. So
really,
so in fact, in Parliament, even to manage the numbers, it's a huge. No chief whip has had the kind of tax I have, but so you have to manage the expectations and ensure that every single person who is not been appointed a minister but has expectations, you need to let the person be assured that there will be some space created for you to be comfortable so that you can carry on your mandate.
Were you expecting a ministerial appointment?
No, I have always no.
You never thought.
I've always look. We've gone to places they asked. I said no. I prefer Parliament. I've always look. I love Parliament.
So if President Mahama should come to you and you will turn it down?
You see, the people but the privilege that I've been given to serve in this position, I believe the final word came from JM.
Okay.
To agree that Rockson should be chief whip. Okay. There were consultations. And for him to agree that I should be the chief whip means that he has that trust in me and knows that I'm capable of delivering on this mandate at this material time in our life. So under the leadership of Mama Yarga, we are working. We've spent the last 5 months trying to stabilize and settle in. I think we are settled now. Things are taking shape. And I believe we'll do a good job.
Wow. It's now time for our mystery questions. And yes, there you go. You can pick one and then read it out for us, and then we'll move on to the other. You're going to pick all anyways. Right. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. And which one do we have as the first? Oh, yes. Can you read it out for us?
Who are some of the leaders, past or present, who have inspired you, and what leadership lessons have you drawn from them? Well, locally, of course, Nkrumah is preeminent.
So he stands tall.
Jerry Rawlings.
Okay.
I believe I love the work that people like Chachu Chikata have done in the law. I love, of course, JM, by virtue of his special character.
Right.
You never see him angry.
Yes.
But he gets angry.
He does.
That's a special quality to have.
True.
That a man can be upset and not seem to be upset. Perhaps only God. Even God gets angry. You know that.
Right.
So then the historical figures, people like his Ford, what they've done with NCBWA, if you know the history, National Congress of British West Africa, the fight they did.
Right.
Akukosa.
Say Akukosa.
Akukosa. You need to read to appreciate some of these things.
So those are
historical accounts.
Yes. Those are your role models in life. Maybe we'll move on to the next.
And I think that there are lots. You surprised me by them. So.
I surprised you. Yeah. No problem. So the next question will be, you pick your next one for us.
Which of these can you recite or sing? The national anthem
or the national
pledge?
The
national pledge?
Yes.
I believe both. We recite them all the time in Parliament.
Okay. Right.
Now, Speaker has intentionally introduced as part of our order paper. Let me see the order paper. No, it's the Tuesdays ones.
Okay.
So you see, this is a Thursday. You see the national pledge.
Pledge is there. So you recite it every Thursday.
Yes. No, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, rather. Okay.
Yes, and of course the national anthem and all that. So, yes.
Cool. So maybe you want to recite the national pledge for us?
Yes, I can do it.
Please do. Yes.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. Not top of mind, but you have to just grab it and then. Yes.
Yes.
Also, not top of mind. You have to refer.
So I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my strength and with all my heart. I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage won for us through the blood and toil of our fathers. And I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana. So help me God.
Indeed. So
yes,
help
yes,
us God. As we wrap it all up, what would you say to young Ghanaians who say, well, we're out there for hope? I saw the CEO of YEA getting folks jobs, registering them, putting out jobs and creating opportunities. Yeah. What would you say to young Ghanaians listening to us and the assurance from your party and your government, the NDC, with regards to job creation?
That we campaign vigorously to create jobs for them. We have taken off as a party since having been installed. A lot of programs are being rolled out. And the YE, the National
Youth Authority,
other models, Feed Ghana, that's by Minister of Agric. Ghana Enterprises Agency is rolling out things for the women, the market women and corner shop owners and tabletop traders. On the fisheries front, as the chairman of the National Premise Committee, we are rolling out programs to ensure that premise get to all the corners, marine and inland.
Okay.
It's very important because we have about 3 to 4 million people who earn a living on the Volta Lake. And the continuous supply of premise means that there's a social cohesion, people can visit themselves by way of transportation. Fishing activities are brisk. People can go to fishing for 3-4 days and return with good catch. The fishmongers can have abundant fish to smoke, sell, even export or bring to the urban areas and trade and improve the local economy,
the livelihood of
people. Farmers who need to travel on the lake to visit their farms, they can do that. That is that's a source of employment that people don't avert their minds to. Then, of course, the new avenues being created by the YA models. Now, so everybody should be patient, because the rolling out is done on constituency basis. The opportunities are thrown to every constituency. So the implication is that every nook and cranny of this country
with time
is
we'll
being
get it.
touched.
So it's being done in phases. Is that what
it's
we're
being
saying?
done in phases as and when, and we are rolling it out. And the numbers look good. We are doing job abroad, work abroad. There are a lot of opportunities coming. The minister, Dr. Rashid Pepu,
for employment,
and then Basintale himself, and recently my brother Kwadwo Ejekum, the Minister of State in charge of special initiatives, is also struck some good opportunities.
So the youth in Ghana should be assured that maybe by the next year or two, jobs will be available for.
In fact, the jobs are being rolled out.
Okay.
So if you look, so you must scan the opportunities and see where you fit in.
Fit in. Okay.
Because the opportunities are such that you need to tailor yourself to fit in.
Right.
I think yesterday Dr. Omani Boama put out a statement saying that his ministry, Ministry of Defense, is about ready to recruit.
Yeah.
Both for the officers as well as the other ranks.
And I hope this is done in the interest of the nation and not on partisan basis.
I told you our brothers are not our standards. Our standards is the nation. What the nation expects us to do is what we do. That is why we are endeared to the people. If we want to copy what the NPP does, we'll fall into atrophy and die. We won't survive, but they will be here. So we don't copy the NPP. We copy what we gauge the mood of the people. What do the people want? So, did you ever see a defense minister post on his Facebook that very soon I will open up recruitment so the youth be ready when the chance come, apply? No. You will not even hear it. Even in parliament, even if you file the question, they will come and dance around it.
Did you get protocol at a point in time to maybe say people in your constituency?
I dared Henry Cote when he said that they were giving protocol. I dared him. I said, me, if you give it to anybody, not me, Dayi. So if you ever gave me a protocol, mention it. Till today, he kept his silence. So sometimes they throw that mud, and then all of us is like, you throw the thing at the ceiling fan and then they blast. Yeah.
You know what it's taking. Anyway, as we wrap it all up, it's been an interesting one with you and getting to know you and getting into your life the more. But when all is said and done, how do you want to be remembered? As the man who came and did what? As Dapeamekpor who did what?
As the man who left a good mark and in the sands of parliament of this nation. I'm still developing and evolving. I credit myself for being one of the key MPs who have used private members' bill to champion. As I speak to you, I'm working on 3 bills. The fair trial time limitation bill, that is to set time limitation for how cases should be tried in this country, both criminal and civil. There's no such law. We only have the constitution that speaks of fair trial. And so we leave the discretion in the hands, because the Courts Act doesn't set time limit for anything. It's a matter that is of concern. You must have followed the Supreme Court judges' vetting, and it's a concern for people that cases go to court and stick forever.
Right.
So as a private member, I want to do that. I'm also working on Code of Conduct Act for public servants. So, of course, the declaration. So, you see why I am for the declaration of publication.
Yes.
Let people know what you have, what your pluses and minuses are. And of course, when you come to public office and you have benefits, let people also know that you came with 3, you are living with 4. Right. So, you don't come as a pauper and leave as a Sultan of Brunei and tell us that you work hard. No.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
So we are still using parliament
to
be able to. But let me pay homage to the Right Honorable Speaker, back being a father figure, a colossus by all standards, knowledgeable man, affable, brilliant man. He has such a fertile mind. He can tell you things that happened in the quietude of a certain date in 1985.
Wow.
With
sharp like that.
With such accuracy that you'll be shocked. You understand? So he can even tell you the color of a paint 40 years ago in an obscure corner.
Wow.
That's the kind of money. So we all drink from his wisdom, a fountain that he's become. And I believe that he will be here for a long time to keep growing us so that we can develop.
Certainly.
Yes.
Certainly.
And let me pay homage to a couple of guys.
Sure.
My own twin brother, Achu, I greet you. My beautiful wife, good evening to you. My leader, Mama Yariga, my two deputies, Comfort Doyo and Achi, Rika Sagan. Apenyo, good evening. And my Mutala Mohammed, Sam George, and there's Nogwe Yusuf, you know, where the stubborn seven, you know,
yes.
that used to work in Parliament. Of course, Isaac Adungo, Suhini,
right.
You know, that was the squad.
Great. So
George Napo and co. You know,
cool. As we wrap it up,
tell
us, what kind of music do you love to listen to?
I love reggae. I
love music.
I love Lucky Dube.
Lucky Dube. Okay,
Yes,
DJ Mono.
I love Bob Marley.
What is it with
and then
you
I love
reggae music?
And I love my Bobobo.
Can we get honorable some Bobobo?
Yeah.
Do you have some Bobobo there? Okay, let's go to the voter region. Let's see if we can get something. So you love your Bobobo.
I love my Bobobo.
I love to visit
when
your
I'm
concerts.
traveling.
Yes.
When I'm traveling.
Oh, that's when you play in the car too.
If I don't have my Lucky Dube, I put on my Bobobo and you know.